Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This year should be a special schus from Rosh Ben Peshadina, L'bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav. We are continuing our shir on the topic of Kavua and Rov, and the basic yesod that we've been talking about is that there are two types of miuts. There's a miut commanda isa, miut commanda lesa. Some miuts are completely erased by the Rov, miut commanda lesa. Some miuts still exist even after there's a rov, and we saw various nafkaminas, and now we are continuing on. Again, this is based on the Shari Chaim of Hagona Gadol Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, is in Siman Mem Hey in the Sefer and Ksubis. The Shachin Yeredeya in Siman Kuf Yud brings the Machlokas Rishonim about Piresh Lefanenu Imakom Hakvius Al Yedei Baal Chaim O Akum Shenat Lo Misham. In other words, we know that if a Jew takes it from the Makom HaKvius, and that's where the Bisafek was misorer. Did he take the kosher piece of meat or the unkosher piece of meat from a Makom that it was Kavua? So we say, Kol Kavua Kamechza Al Mechza Dami. We know B'nimtza, we know that if it's found on the street, it was parish from the place of Kavua, and he found it on the street. So the din is that Halach Achar Harov. That's if we just find it, it wasn't parish L'fanenu. So the shaila is, what's the din if it was parish lefanenu, if the piece of meat separated before us, but not by a person, not by a Jew, by a Baal Chai, by a Goy, so really there's no suffix yet, it was parish al yedei Baal Chai or Goy, there's no halachic ramifications right now, but it was parish befanenu, it was in front of us, and it separated from the makom hakviyus. So what's the din? Das Taisim Psachim and Daf Tesamid Beis, Dibra Maskil Hainu and other Rishonim, is that it's considered Kavua Min HaTorah and Kamechza Mechza Dami. However, the Ran in Chulin and Daf Tzadi Hey Amud Aleph writes that in such an instance, Midoiraisa, it's mutter because we go after the Rov and it's not called Kavua. Umidrabanan Hudagazru, it's only a Gzeira Midrabanan when they saw that it was Parish Min HaKavua. Gzeira, Zoktaran, Shema Yikach Min HaKavua. You might take, less you take from the Kavua. Al Kopanim Mei Ikar Adin Midoiraisa. It's mutter because we consider it Parish Min Harov, according to the Tos and other Rishonim. No, we consider it Kavua because it was Parish B'fanenu. We saw it leaving the Makom HaKvius, and therefore it has a din Kavua, and Kol Kavua, Kemechza Al Mechza Dami, B'siyad D'Shmayim Rab Gelernt, L'machloikes Rishonim, about Piresh Lefanenu, Mimokum Hakvius, Al Yedei Baal Chai, O Akum. Frekt Hagoin, Rebbe Akiva Eger, on the sheet of the Ran, from a Tosefta on the 5th parak of Tyrus, brought there in the Rash, this Tshuva Rebbe Akiva Eger is in Tinyan and Siman Kuf Ches. Let's say you have 9 shratzim. You have 9 shratzim, 9 dead rats, and 1 svardeya in Rishus Harabim, and somebody touches one of them, and we don't know which one of them he touched. Did he touch the Tamei Sheretz? There are 9 of them, or did he touch the svardeya? So the din is, since it was in Rishus Harabim, Sveik tar, Bisafek it's tar, Piresh echad mehem. If one of them was Piresh, in other words, you have these Tisha Shratzim and Svardei Echad in a Makom Kavua, but now one of them, and they're all together, and now one of them is Piresh. So if it's L'Rishus HaYachid, Sveiko Tameh. If it's L'Rishus HaRabim, Sveiko Tar. If it was Parish to Rishus HaYachid, the din is that the Safek is Tameh. If it was Rishus HaRabim, Sveikos Tar, because we know the rule that if you have Safek Tameh Rishus HaRabim Tar, if you have Safek Tameh Rishus HaYachid Tameh. So if Piresh Echad Mehem L'Rishus HaYachid, so the Safek is Tameh. If Piresh Echad Mehem L'Rishus HaRabim, the Safek is Tar, because that's the rule of these Rishiyas. Rishus HaRabim Safek is Tar, Rishus HaYachid Safek is Tameh. Uvenimtza, but if it's found, in other words, it wasn't, we'll see in a moment. If it's nimsa, if it was Paresh, and then you found it, so then Holach Achar Harov, then you go after the rov, and here if they're tisha shratzim, then you assume it's a sheretz. So we see that there's two inyanim here. There's piresh, and then there's nimtza. Piresh and nimtza are two different things. First it says piresh echad mehem l'shus echad tzveiko tam l'shus tzveiko tar, and then it says nimtza halach achar rov. So when you talk about piresh, when it's separated, what's the din? The din is it's totally in din rishuyos. If it's rishus echad tzveiko tam l'shus tzveiko tar. The nimtza, it's not totally in the din of rishus, rather halach achar rov. So explains the Rash. What does it mean piresh? Piresh means piresh lifanenu mi makom hakvius. It was piresh in front of us from the makom hakvius. It was piresh lifanenu in front of us. Our case of lifanenu mi makom hakvius, because the suffix was noilad b'makom hakvius, and therefore it's kavua ukemechza al mechza dami. And therefore the din is that it's kavua, and since it's kavua, it's kemechza al mechza dami. Because it was piresh lefanenu, and therefore it's kavua kemechza al mechza dami. And since it's 50-50, so what do you do in this case of 50-50? The answer is, it depends on rishuyos. You don't know. It's mamish suffix, it's 50-50. So you go after rishuyos. If it's in rishus hayachid, sveikoi tameh. If it's in rishus harabim, sveikoi tar. Nimtza. Nimtza is when it wasn't parish lefanenu. Nimtza is when you found it. So that's prisha ma'alyu, so that's a good prisha. There, bazlina basaruba. There, megayt nachin roiv. You go after the rov. So comes Rabbi Kiva Eiger, design kashe, that l'shitas haran, that min haTorah. You go after the rov, even b'piresh lefanenu. So therefore, if it's piresh lefanenu, and you go after the rov, so what should be the din? The din is, it's tamei vadai. Because min haTorah, there's a good rov here to be mitamei. So how does this Tosefta say that b'rishus harabim sveikoi tar? Zok the Tosefta, piresh echad mehem, l'rishus echad sveikoi tar, l'rishus harabim sveikoi tar. How could it be that b'rishus harabim sveikoi tar? It's piresh lefanenu. According to the Ran, remember the Ran's a Rishon, the Tosefta is a Tana. According to the Ran, if it's piresh lefanenu, the din is that you go after the rov. Here you have a rov. So who cares that it's in rishus harabim? How can you be mataret rishus harabim? Din is rov. You have to be matame. So how can the Ran say that if it's piresh lefanenu, you go after the rov? Here you say, we see it was piresh lefanenu, and nevertheless, since it was in rishus harabim, we're matar. Not like the Ran. Ran would say, you have to be metame, it's a rov. This kasha of Rabbi Kiva Eiger is given a grade by Rav Chaim Shmulevitz. Vihi tmiya nizgova. Das is a groise kasha. Was kann man tun, as they say, the Chassidim. Chassidim say it different than the Litvaks. That we found earlier in the shiur we've been giving that there are two types of rovs, as we mentioned at the outset. There's a rov that's a psak, that's a achra, meaning there's still a miyut, but you're machriya like the rov, but there's still a miyut. And then there's another din of miyut command lesa. There's a din that there is no miyut. And here the rov is an other sort of rov. It's a different type of rov. It's a rov that's a beirur. It's a rov that's an absolute. It wipes out the miyut. It's mevarer legamrei, the din, the psak, the halacha. It's not just a psak, it's a beirur. Because the rov is misalik the suffix meikara. So these two dinim are fundamentally different. The din of acharei rabim lahatos, that's mitoras psak. It's chal on the chaticha mesupekes, and it's machriya the din. If you're following acharei rabim lahatos, you have the Bisafek on the chaticha, and the rov is machriya the din, one way or the other, whatever the rov is. That's when you're talking about acharei rabim lahatos. Masha ein kain. When you talk about the din of miyuta command lesa, there it's a different world. There, when you have a rov, there's no more miyut. The miyut is wiped out. It's not just a psak on the miyut that it's your machriya kafi the rov, but rather there is no miyut. Ulefizeh, we can explain the sheet of the Ran, that the chiddush that he was mechadish, that prisha lefanenu is not considered kavua, and a rov is effective. All the Ran meant was that here you have a hanhaga and a psak of rov, but you don't have the other din of miyuta kamandalese. The Ran never said that when it's parish b'fanenu, the miyut is completely wiped out. No, the Ran just means that if it's parish b'fanenu, the rov is machriya, but there's still a miyut. So the Ran agrees that it's still considered kavua. The reason is that since the prisha was in front of us, and we saw the netila mimakom akvius, we saw it being taken from the makom kavua. So where was the latest Bisafek? Where was the Safek geboren? Where was it born? B'makom hakvius. So therefore, when we talk about the din beirur of rov, which is chal be'etzem hasafek, what do we say about the din beirur of rov? We say when it's mevarer, when the rov is mevarer, so that means that there is no miyut. But here, you can't say that, because here there's still a kavua. Since it was taken mimakom hakvius, and that's where there was latest hasafek, you can't say that there's no more makom kvius. You can't say there's no more miyut. You can't say there's no more 50-50. There is, because at the time of the latest hasafek there was a miyut, and what erased it? At that time there was at the time of the latest hasafek there was a 50-50, because we saw b'fanenu, we saw that it was removed. Whatever it was, the davar tameh or tar, we saw that it was removed, or kasher or treif. We saw in front of us that it was removed. So since you saw that in front of you was removed, so there's still a kviyus here. So in the end, even after we follow the rov, it's not mevarer that there's no miyut at all, because there is a miyut. Of course, there's a miyut, because it was parish b'fanenu. So Zman Leidus Bisafek, the Zman Leidus Bisafek, there was a kviyus. Since there was a kviyus, the Zman Leidus Bisafek, even though we're machriya afterwards, kafi harov, that doesn't mean that there's no more miyut. There still is a miyut, because again, when the Safek was born, there was a miyut. So it's not that this rov, when is a rov going to wipe it out? If Zman Leidus Bisafek, the rov wipes out the miyut, then it's b'seder gamur. But here, Bisman Leidus Bisafek, there was a good miyut here. There's a kol kavua kamechza mechza dami. And now that it was paresh, so now you're going to follow the rov. But why are you following the rov? You're following the rov al psak, not al beru. That you're going to say achurab lahados, that you're going to assume that it was part of the rov, but not that there's no more miyut. Because the Mainaf Kamina, who took it? Sof kol sof. It was taken mimakom akvius, and we saw it. The only thing is, now afterwards, we have to decide. So what do we decide afterwards? We decide afterwards, now that there's a nafkamina, halach lamaisa. When it was taken by the Baal Chai or by the Goy, there was no nafkamina lamaisa. So, since there was no nafkamina lamaisa, bisman leidus Bisafek, there's no psak. Just so, afterwards there's going to be a psak. What's going to be the psak? The psak is going to be we're going to follow the rov. So now when you're looking at this chaticha and you want to decide, can you eat the chaticha or not eat the chaticha? You have a rov. Because now, b'shas halakicha, there was no nafkamina. But now that there's an nafkamina, we can paskin. And now it's begeder shel nimtza. So in other words, because there was no nafkamina when it was taken, there's only a nafkamina now, we are allowed to follow the rov. We can call it nimtza. And we don't say that it remains 50-50. Because at the time of the lakicha, there was no nafkamina lamaisa. So enachanai b'shas leidus Bisafek. There was, when it was taken b'fanenu. And you don't know what it is. But you know that there's kvius there. So that kvius doesn't go away. But now afterwards, you can consider it nimtza. Why can you consider it nimtza? Because now that a Jew takes it, and now you have an nafkamina lamaisa, you can follow the rov. So therefore, it emerges then that according to the Ran, the prisha lefanenu, the din is mitchalek. The din psak of rov, according to the Ran, is effective min haTorah. But the Ran agrees to the other Rishonim, laying in the din of miyuta kamandalesa. The Ran is modeh to the other Rishonim with respect to the din of miyuta kamandalesa, that this din doesn't apply by prisha lefanenu. Because the only way you could say miyuta kamandalesa is when the etzem hasafek is erased. And here, the etzem hasafek is not erased. How come you can't erase the etzem hasafek? Because the suffix was born b'makom hakvius. The leidus hasafek was b'makom hakvius. So how can you say miyuta kamandalesa? Miyuta kamandalesa is when from the get-go you have a rov and you have a miyut, and the rov from the get-go, when you're done in the shaila, the rov is wiping out the miyut. That's a miyuta kamandalesa. But here, etzem suffix, there is a suffix still. Because b'shas leidus a suffix, there was a kvius. Just afterwards, we're machriya kafi the rov. But b'shas leidus a suffix, there was a kvius. That means that this miyut, this 50-50 is command isa. Just afterwards, we say, Seder, now that it's a shayla halacha l'maisa, we're going to follow the rov. So on one hand, it's called Kavua. On the other hand, we follow the rov. It's called Kavua in the sense that it is a suffix. But you follow the rov in this suffix. So now we can explain the sheet of the Ran that midrabanan, it's called Kavua, even though min haTorah we go follow the Rov. Because we explained in the very first year, a little while back, that is Machlokas Rabbanan Reb Meir for Choshesh L'miyuta or not. And we explain that the rabbis aren't Choshesh L'miyut. That's only Mishum Miyuta Kamandalesa. That only means that the rabbis don't hold that the miyut is completely erased. That only means that according to the rabbis, miyut is kamandalesa, that the miyut is wiped out. According to Rabbi Meir, there is a miyut. You're choshish for the miyut. And according to the rabbis, miyut is kamandalesa. But in an instance where it's not shayach to be mavar the Bisafek legamre, in other words, in an oifen, when there still is going to be a miyut, in an oifen, when miyut kamandi isa, there the rabbis agree that choshin the miyuta. When did the rabbis argue? We said according with Rabbi Meir, when the rov wipes out the miyut, then lo choshim the miyut. But when the rov doesn't wipe out the miyut, when there's still you're just following the rov al tachra, so the rabbis there would agree with Rabbi Meir that you are choshish for the miyut midrabanan. So that's a big chiddush. That according to the rabbis, normally when we say you're not choshish lemiyut, that's because it wipes it out. But if it doesn't wipe it out, then you are choshish for the miyut. Now, in the instance where it was parish lefanenu, that we explain that it's not shayach the hachra. It's not shayach to wipe out the Bisafek legamre. All there is here is a hachra, but there still is a tzad miyut. So in such an instance, l'kulei alma, you're choshesh lemiyut even for the rabbanan. So that's pshat in the Ran. Why midairaisa go after the rov? Midrabanan, you have to follow the miyut because kol kavua kamechza mechzadami, the miyut command isa. And we said that according to the rabbis who argue with Rabbi Meir and hold that lo choshesh the miyut, you're normally not choshesh for miyuts. You don't have to be machmer like the miyut, but in an instance where it's miyut command isa, where the miyut still exists after you follow the rov, there you should be choshesh. And that's exactly what the Ran holds. The Ran holds that you should be choshesh for the miyut midrabanan, even though you're following the rov. Why? Because here you're only following the rov b'taras psak and achra, and since you're only following the rov b'taras psak and achra, then mele you have to be choshish for the miyut. You have to be machem midrabanan. So midaraisa the Ran holds you go after the rov. But midrabanan, since the miyut is commanded isa, there still is a miyut. You're choshish for that miyut. The Ran gave a different reason. The Ran didn't give our lamdish a reason. The Ran says Gzeir Hashem Yikach Mena Kavua. So you can say, what's pshat Gzeir Hashem Yikach Mena Kavua? That you're choshesh for the miyut if it's pirish lefanenu because he's going to take from the kavua. Why are you choshesh that he's going to take from the kavua? For the very reason we said, because this is like kavua, because there's a tzad here that it's kavua. Since there's a tzad here that it's kavua, because originally it was kavua, Mamela, there's a chashash you're going to take from the kavua. And therefore, this piece is aser. Because you're going to take from the kavua, because this also has a tzad kavua. Why? Because when it was paresh, it was kavua, and it was paresh lefanenu. Shas later the Bisafek, it was kavua. So it's not wiped out. The Bisafek isn't wiped out. So since there still is a Bisafek, yeah, you follow the rov daraisa, but not midrabanan. Midrabanan, you're choshish for the miyut. And according to this, we can answer the kasha of Rabbi Kiva here. That it says in the Tosefta, that beprisha lefanenu, this shaykh din kavua lekula, letar b'shus harabim. We saw in the Tosefta that where mitar b'shus harabim it says Pireish echad mehem, which we said means lefanenu. Lirishus harabim, sveikoi tar. We said that if it was Poresh lefanenu, birshus harabim, sveikoi tar. And we asked, why don't we go basa rov shratzim to be metame? We should go after rov shratzim and be metame, according to you, the Ran, because you, the Ran, say that pireish b'fanenu, you go after the rov. So here also we should go after the rov. How can you possibly say to go after the reshuyos and say b'rishus harabim? Sveikoi tar. And the answer is that rov is effective to mevatel dinei reshuyos. That's like a rov that has a din of miyuta kamandalesa. When it's a powerful rov, it's a power hitter rov, it's batting forth that rov. Wipes out the miyut. So then what do we say? We say that the din b'shuyos doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you found that piece. What does it matter? You have a rov. And this is a powerful rov. This is a cleanup hitter rov. So if it's a miyuta kamandalesa rov, since the ikra suffix was mizbar, it's not called suffix tum anymore. Let's pshat the roiv is mevar the suffix. Pshat is no longer a suffix. Bye suffix. It turns from a suffix into a psak. Before we're using psak is a achra, that it's still a miyut. But the suffix goes bye. No more suffix. So if it's no more suffix, in Mamela we don't care about the reshuyos. Because what's the din of reshus haram sveikol tor reshus sveikol tomei? It's a din in suffix tumah. But if the roiv is mevar the suffix, there's no suffix anymore. So therefore, why would you possibly follow the rov in a million years? So therefore, if it's a rov mochetz, it's a starker rov that's wiping out the miyut, then we don't care about the reshuyos. But in unzer nidon, in our case, prisha lefanenu, the din rov is not mitaris psak. The din rov is only mitaris psak and achra. Right? Lo nistalik ikra suffix. There's still a suffix. Just the rov is machriya the suffix. So, now you're in the realm of sfeikis. It's still a suffix. So what's the din of suffix tumah b'rishus harabim? Sveikoi tar. So that's why he's not a kasha in the Ran. Because we asked on the Ran, you the Ran hold prisha lefanenu, you follow the rov. So why here in prisha lefanenu you don't follow the rov? You say b'rishus harabim sveikoi tar, even though the rov here is that it's tamei. The answer is because you misunderstood the Ran. All the Ran meant was that you follow the rov midin psak. But it's not a beirur on the suffix. It's still a suffix. And Mamela we find in b'rishus harabim sveikoi tar. So the Ran would say, Sveiko, like the Tosefta says, Sveiko tar, Shtarabim. And what about your rov? The answer is, it's not a good enough rov to completely neutralize the suffix. It's still a suffix. So Mamela, you have to follow Shtarabim. We know that Chazaka is mitame, even b'rishus harabim. Like we find the Nida Gimel Amid Aleph in Tosis Divar Maskul Gomar. And we don't say that since it's only a psak in the suffix and the ikr suffix is still there, it's included in the din of suffix tumah b'rishus harabim tar. No. If we have a chazaka is mitame, even b'rishus harabim. So you see that we don't say the halacha that reshus harabim sveikoi tar against a psak of chazaka. We should also say that there's no halacha of reshus harabim sveikoi tar against a psak of rov. Just like by chazaka, we follow the chazaka. So too by rov, we should follow the rov and not the reshus harabim sveikoi tar. The answer is that there's a difference between a psak of chazaka and a psak of rov. that in Chazaka the Yisod of the Psak is Ha mei davar al cheskasoi, and don't be mistapik. The Chazaka tells us, stay with the Chazaka, bleib mit Chazake, and don't have a suffix. That's what Chazaka tells us. Chazaka tells us, no more doubt, take it out. That's Chazaka. And therefore there's no din, which is Sarabim Sveikoi Tor. It's Sarabim Sveikoi Tor, it's not a suffix. The Chazaka completely disarms the suffix, no more suffix. Even though it's only a psak and a haga, but this psak is not to be mistapik. But the Gabe Rov, there's no psak that we shouldn't have any tzad of a mute. All we say is that the Rov is machriya k'tzad of fiyah Rov. But not that there's no mute. And therefore, Barov, like we learned in an earlier shir, Barov v'choshish l'miyut, but not b'chazaka. Because Chazaka says there's no miyut, there's nothing to talk about here. Barov, there's still a miyut afterwards if it's a psak. And since the Rov doesn't tell us not to be mistapek, we say suffik tumrush sarabim, sveiko tar, it's still a suffik. And therefore, if you have a suffik with sarabim, the suffik is tar. And now just to conclude with a little bit of dessert. In Maseches Pesachim, Adav Tesam Beis, it says that if you have Teisha Tziburin Shel Matzah, if you have 9 piles of matzah and 1 of Chometz, and then a mouse came, not the type you have in your computer, the type that we don't want in our houses, right? So a mouse comes and takes 1 piece, and you don't know if he took from the matzah and from the chometz. If he took from the matzah and he brought it into the house, your house is beseder. If he takes from the chometz, got to check again. So the Gemara says that's like the case of the 9 stores in the 1 store, and therefore the din is that just like the 9 store and the 1 store, makom kavua. It's kol kavua kemechtzal mechtzal, kol kavua kemechtzal mechtzal dami. Say kol kavua kemechtzal mechtzal dami. Just like by the 9 kosher stores and 1 unkosher store, but since the suffix was no b'makom akvius, so it's kavua, it's 50-50. So to here, the piles were kavua, it's 50-50, even though it's rov matzah, because we said that there are 9 piles of matzah, the person still has to check the house again. So the divrei Aran, that bepirish lefanenu, it's not considered kavua min Torah. So we have to say that what the Gemara means is that since they're Rabbanan, it's kavua, so they were machmir in Bdikas Chometz. Even though Bdikas Chometz Derabanan, we're also machmir. And this Derabanan, like the Ran says, Midaraisi you go after the Rov, Midarabanan you're machmir. However, based on our Havan and the Ran, you can say Nachtifer. That the Chumrah is not only because Derabanan it's kavua and you don't follow the Rov. But more than that, even mitzad din daraisa, that there is a Rov, you also have to be mechayiv b'dika. Why? That since the din Rov is only b'taras hachron psak, but the suffix is still there, there's still a chovas b'dika. Because what's the yisod chovas hab'dika? Mishum suffix, and here there's still a suffix. The whole chovas hab'dika is out suffix. So here, once you understand what the Ran means is that you're paskening al pi the Rov of Pirish Lefanenu, but there's still a suffix. You just follow the Rov, in this case of suffix, but it's still mugdar as a suffix. Memela, when you're in a nidon of Bdikas Chometz, you have to check. Because you're right, you have the Rov, but this Rov is only psak in the suffix. It's still a suffix. And the whole takana of Bdikas Chometz was out suffix. So since the whole takana of Bdikas Chometz is out suffix, you don't have to come on to the din derabanan that you're machmir that it's kavua. Even din deraisa that you have a rov, but you have a rov that's a suffix, and memela, since even deraisa you have a rov that's a suffix, so there's still a takana of bdikas chometz, and that's why says the Maggid Mishnah that if you have a Safek in Bdika, you don't go Lakula. Because the whole takana of the Bdikas Chometz was a Safek. So don't say, oh, Sfeik Lakula, it's only Dirabanan. That's normally, when you have regular dinim, you go Sfeik Lakula. But here the whole vort is that you have to be Machmir and Sfeikis. So therefore you have to go Sfeik Lachumra. And that's why in our case, the Ram would agree, obviously like the Gemara says, that if you have 9 of matzah and 1 of chametz, you have to be machmir and be boidik. So, sweet friends, I hope we understood correctly this Torah. We explained it well. And there's still a lot more to say, obviously. But we'll close here. B'siyata d'shmaya. We should be zoiche lilmod ilalamed lishmor v'lasu l'kaimis kol divrei salmo Torah b'yava. And gedenken, and always to remember that sof davra kol nishma es Elokim yirah v'es mitzvosov shmor ki zeh kol ha'adam. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.